Every story has a 3-act structure, a beginning, middle and end. Watching the protagonists progress on their journey to achieve his or her goal. However, a major plot point in the story stops them in getting what they want. That occurs around, yes you guessed it, the midpoint. It splits Act 2 in half, Act 2A and Act 2B, causing it to be their own distinctive acts, that has both clear objectives. A midpoint is often described as elevating the stakes, the shift or the turning point of your story into a new direction. But how do you make an effective midpoint that makes the climax more intense, faster paced and more urgent with higher stakes? But before I do, here are the films and episodes I'll be using to justify my points. I do highly recommend you watch them as I'll be going into heavy spoilers about them. Alright, let's find out how to write a midpoint. It's easy to discover how you like to begin and end your story, yet working on the second act that's normally 50% of your screenplay can be tricky for some people. It could be filling out random pages that could have no relevance to your story. Trust me, I was once there.
Trust me on this.
Your protagonist has an overall want, however their want has to come with a cost that changes the story going forward, making the turning point effective. In the Doctor Who episode Oxygen, the 12th Doctor wishes to return to space, but he isn't allowed to leave Earth's atmosphere because he made a vow to protect a vault for 1,000 years on Earth. However, he gets what he wants by rebellion, and going to space as if he's going to return to Earth with no consequences. But the Doctor is mistakenly wrong, and his desire comes with a cost. The midpoint of this episode is very strong and dramatically shifts into a different direction. His student Bill, who he is responsible for, loses control of her suit, where she will be exposed to the vacuum of space. But the Doctor takes a risk and gives her his helmet, causing him to lose his sight, sending him into the second half of the story by attempting to defeat the zombies while blind, and returning to Earth much weaker than he was at the start of the story. Same thing applies in the animation horror film Coraline. It seems like Coraline is setting into this other world quite nicely, with warm and loving other parents. Her want before the midpoint is to stay there forever, rather than living in the real world that's dull and colourless, where her real parents don't give her any attention at all. But then the other mother reveals her true sinister intentions. They want to sew buttons into her eyes.
No way! You're not sewing buttons in my eyes!
Oh, but we need a yes if you want to stay here.
But how do you inject new energy into your story to fuel the audience engagement? There are two fundamentals of this. One, increasing the opposition, and two, raising the stakes. Things that also needs to be in your midpoint are a big reveal.
Where are those keys, Rose?
You know I can't give you the keys, right, babe?
A false victory. And now it's personal.
There. It's your decision, darling. We only want what's best for you.
Anything that will make the opposition, like an antagonist, stronger or harder for the protagonist to accomplish his or her goal, and gains an advantage over the protagonist. In Jordan Peele's thriller, Get Out, Chris visits his girlfriend's parents for the weekend, who is actually her first black boyfriend. Yet he witnesses strange behaviours from the housekeeper Georgina and the groundskeeper Walter. But late that night, Rose's mother pressures him into a hypnotherapy session to cure his smoking addiction. However, this causes him to sink into the void where he has no control over. But he wakes up and assumes that encounter was a dream. In reality, it wasn't. Chris joins the party with a dozen wealthy white people, which makes him uncomfortable. Yet he meets the only other black person at the party, but behaves strangely and is married to a much older white woman. Chris convinces Rose that they should leave. Yet on a second viewing, Rose is purposely distracting Chris, while the party guest holds an auction for Chris, who wants to steal his body away from him. Now at the midpoint of Get Out, Chris finds a box of photos of her ex-boyfriends, including Walter and Georgina. This contradicts her claim that Chris is her first black boyfriend. He then tries to leave the house, but Rose's mother uses a trigger that she implanted during his hypnose, has complete utter control over him, making it harder for Chris to escape the house. Chris has been faced with something that throws him off his previous path of spending the weekend with his girlfriend's parents, to then discover a way to get out. To raise the stakes, it means whatever happens in the midpoint threatens what's at stake to the characters or world. In the middle of Act 2, the story may need more energy to add fuel to the audience engagement. Let's have a quick look at the Dot 2 episode Utopia. In the middle of Utopia, Professor Yarnes got what he wanted. With help from the Doctor, Professor Yarnes fixed the rocket so it can transport the last humans to Utopia. But this comes with a cost. A member of the future kind smuggled herself into the station and sabotages the engines, forcing it to no longer work. This throws the characters into a difficult situation where they can lose everything they worked for. Not only that, the team is under a clock, leading the second half of the story to have a lot more urgency and keeping the audience engagement throughout it. I suggest you have another look at one of your favourite films or episodes from a TV show, so you can discover the midpoint of a story that sends the character into a different direction and why it's effective. If you want to watch another video like this, I do highly recommend you watch my video essay on how to make the perfect trailer. But till then, make sure to like, comment your thoughts on a midpoint, and if there's anything crucial I forgot to put into this video, let me know. But as well, subscribe for more videos like this one. Alright, I'll see you next time. Goodbye!